Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we are just a couple of days removed from the latest balance patch in Hearthstone that saw Demon Hunter, and Paladin all get nerfed, and I thought it'd be a good time to give you guys new decks to climb with, whether it be standard or wild, where you can take one of these decks and reasonably expect to climb, whether it be to silver, gold, platinum, diamond, or legend for the very first time. If you enjoy the content on the channel, you feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like. We are super close to 76K. So again, thank you guys all so much for your support. There's gonna be a real Reno vibe to a lot of these decks in both standard and wild, because yeah, Reno is pretty good in both formats. So starting off, one of the best decks, if not the best deck in standard. It was really good before the latest patch and still really good now. It's Reno Shaman, and it basically one of the best cards it got this entire set. Dr. Holiday, you equip that weapon, you just start smacking away. It's a 2/9 weapon. Every time you smack, you summon an even larger and larger frog that's not orange, it's green. Blizzard fixed this, but overall, play that card on curve. It is one of the best win rate cards period out there. Of course, you have Reno Lone Ranger, which is just an absolutely ridiculous board wipe, and you just play a lot of really good cards in Shaman, right? You have the new Giant Tumbleweed in there for a nice AoE. You got your Broken Titan in there and Golganath that is just really busted card, super good. You even have ETC for some tech options to Framester to shut off your other Reno opponent's Viper and all that stuff, just to, destroy their frog weapon or whatever you want. Really solid deck. I find it really fun. I find the wild version to be very fun too. Also super toxic. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, you just got a lot of good early game, and you just try and win with your late game, whether it be Dr. Holiday, whether it be your Yogg Saron, your Astalors and all of that. Just a really solid deck, and one that people have hit rank 1 legend with, have had tons of success with, and I do think it is a really fun deck to play, and pretty darn rewarding one. I'm gonna go over 2 mage lists, mostly just one here. In Excavate Sif Mage, it's really popped off as a deck to look out for. It is a combination of, your usual Sif shenanigans, where you want to buffer spell damage up and then kill your opponent with arcane worms or geysers or your snake oils. But you also just have in that whole mid-game package the excavate stuff. You have cryopreservation, you've got Cobalt Miner and Blast Mage Miner. With just those, basically those excavates combined, you can reliably get Reliquary Researcher online, which is just an insanely good card. Getting 2 secrets out, especially when you have objection and counterspell and explosive runes out there. It's a really effective card. It helps you fight for that mid game, get to the end game. Plus, you can eventually get that excavate reward that gives you a Titan for 1 mana, which can be really powerful. And the very early numbers, and again, it's only been a couple of days, seem to a hint that maybe Excavate Sif Mage is the way to go. And yeah, it runs a lot of the newer cards. You have Heatwave in there too for 2 mana Consecration, as long as you quick draw on it. But even without that, it's still a really solid card. Definitely want to try out if you like this gameplay and you're kind of sick of the classic style of Rainbow Mage. I know that deck has existed for an expansion and a half, or not even, but we're gonna call it classic. It's vintage now, just like this shirt. And yeah, I'll throw this one out there, but I will also have this in the deck codes and all that down below. Just a more standard Rainbow Mage, although it has evolved a little bit, where people are running Tram Mechanic just to get that 1 fell spell in the whole batch, which can be, useful to get your spell schools going, and a stargazing in there to tutor out some more card draw and all of that too. So something to look out for. No volume up is something that's been cut, and I found that hard to run even prior versions. So volume up is the card that has kind of taken the hit, and it looks like even the mana cheat of going for the massive burn, you don't even need that anymore when you have Miracle Salesman. So yeah, you don't even see, was it the 5 mana legendary we were running for a little bit? I can't even remember its name, but you would play that to discount Lady Nazjar, to discount your spells. That isn't even really making the cut anymore. So again, if you want to play a more standard Rainbow Mage, that might be the safer bet, but if Excavate looks a lot more exciting to me, so I had to throw that out there. Also have 2 Druid decks to put out there. One is, I'm just calling it Renoish Druid, because it runs quite a few duplicates, but it runs the Reno card. So you have Rheastraza in here to get that infinite dragon value, right? You have Reno Lone Ranger in there for that board clear, but you'll note 2 Innervates, 2 Aquatic Forums, 2 Embrace of Natures, 2 Splish Splash Whelps, 2 Amber Whelps, like a bunch of like duplicates. But the idea is you're just going to draw a lot. You're playing Druid, so you're going to rip through with your nourishes. You're going to rip through with your tail sky and take it to the skies. And yeah, by the late game, you can play those cards, and a lot of them tutor themselves, right, to get that duplicating effect down, because your Embrace of Nature is going to hit your nourishes, or your Take to the Sky is going to hit your dragon. So again, the numbers seem decent on this, and regular Reno Druid just hasn't been really making the cut. So I thought I'd throw this suggestion out there more as a fringe one. If you have these cards, they're very expensive deck, right? Like Eonar, Yogg, Phi, Rheastraza, Reno, a lot of legendaries in here. Astalor, Ignis is free at least. So if you don't have the cards, again, I'm gonna go out of my way out of crafting this one, but the numbers look pretty decent, and it's kind of spicy. I don't know, I thought it looks kind of sweet, and a way to play Reno while also not really playing it. It's kind of a cheesy way of doing it, but we've seen this work in the past, in particular in Druid, where you would just play like Elise, and you'd play Zeth, and just cycle through your whole deck, and then start copying them in the late game, even though you had a bunch of duplicates. It's definitely not something we haven't seen from Druid in the past. A more conventional style Druid deck that seems to be doing really well, nothing really that new here, is that whole Dragon Druid, the Snapdragon, Jarn Garden, just try and get giant dragon golems Druid, right? That's literally what it's about. You just want to get a bunch of big dragon golems. You got all your dragons to kind of get you there. You got Malagos for some draw, but that's really what it's about. And the deck did pretty well pre-patch, but is doing better post-patch so far, so had to throw that one out there. We have Plague DK, which is always a good bet when you got a lot of those Reno decks out there, plus, you know, you're running into those combo decks, those solitaire decks, you still running into Demon Hunters, which thankfully seems to be hovering around 50%, which is still making me nervous, but the play rate has gone down on it, so I'm not recommending it at least, but it is, you know, it can go against the Reno decks, can go against those cycle decks pretty hard. And also, you know, you have in here, you know, your Excavate package, you can resummon your Reskas, your Chain Guardians, your Primuses, just a deck that people seem to really like to play. Not the highest win rate, not the lowest win rate, it's legend capable, and it's something you always see pop up. Even at high legend, I always see this popping up, and it's certainly a deck I could recommend. And the last deck, I'll just, you know, Enrage Warrior. Enrage Warrior is really good. It's a really good deck. It's been the same thing for quite some time. It's Enrage Warrior. What else can I say? They got Battle Ward Faceless in the last mini set, and that's made this a super solid deck ever since then. Not really running any new cards for the most part. It's just, yeah, Enrage Warrior, it's pretty good. I've said that a few times already. And then looking at Wild, again, Wild not changed much from the balance patch, but just thought I'd go over some decks that you can try out. This recent version of Even Shaman, I call it Beat Boop Beat because the Even Shaman bots, but this was even piloted by a bot. This got rank 1 legend, playing just regular Even Shaman, except with a couple of spices in here. Got Totally Totems, if you have that from like the Caverns of Time, and the Trusty Companion spell, which is in the latest expansion. Other than that, it's Even Shaman. Get totems, go face, click the button. It's so good. Bots get legend with it, and my god, you face them all the time. It's ridiculous. My favorite deck to be playing right now in Wild has been Reno Shaman. It is just so unfair to be able to play Reno Lone Ranger and then play it again with Shutterwalk and then play it again with Brilliant Macabre. That's not okay. That's not okay. But the deck is really fun to play. Dr. Holiday feels even better when you go to like a Quest Druid or Kingsbane Rogue. Like, this can't deal with infinite taunts forever. So that can be pretty satisfying. And yeah, definitely a deck I could recommend. It's been rank 1 legend already in Wild. Really solid, and just does the usual kind of gross shenanigans Shaman can do in Wild. The Demonseed seems to be really picking up multiple rank 1s lately with the Demonseed. This is the deck that will never die. It's been nerfed multiple times, banned. You have to deal 30 damage. It just doesn't matter when you have cards like Crystallizer, right? Like, this is the card that will always fuel this deck until it eventually, if it ever gets killed at some point. But yeah, play Crystallizers, raise dead them, get your quest complete. You could sheet out in the meantime. Your Molten Giants, your Flesh Giants, your Imprisoned Horrors. You got Battleground Battlemaster to give them Wind Fury, and in your ETC, you could like Magatha for like ultimate fatigue in the late game, or get through a secret if you're trying to get through Ice Block. So yeah, effective deck, one I can't stand, but I keep seeing it popping up at really high legend, and I do know there is an audience that loves the Demonseed. I'm not one of them, but I know they're out there, so I will give that as a recommendation. Shadow Priest, usual thing. You just go face, punish the decks like the Demonseed Warlock there that are trying to self-damage. You just kill them. Try and kill like quest mages, stuff like that. It's super early game based. You know, there's not much more to it than that. People like teching in Celestial Projectionist to like get some extra value on some of their minions. I guess you could try that. Thirsty Drifter is the only newish card in there, but always seems to pop up as a decent pick as an aggro deck. And this was a recent rank 1 hit. Lately, Quest Druid. We haven't seen Quest Druid be super good since Yaw got nerfed, but it's still a pretty busted deck. So I thought I'd throw that out there. Nothing too crazy about it. ETC. We got a Plate Breaker, a Sticky Fingers, and Ashen. Whoever hit rank 1 with this, I believe this was on the APAC server, and it's the most popular Wild Surfer by quite a bit. So I'll just give them for their GigaChad ETC Tech W Questlight Druid if you want to give it a shot. So there you go. Those are some decks for standard and wild. My last deck recommendation video had some twist decks. I don't have anything new to suggest for twist or anything like that. I don't see anyone even really talking about it. Hopefully these decks worked out for you, and always feel free to share your own deck suggestions and all that stuff in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.